The homework assignment was to find out what are the food groups. So I decided what I would do was ask our government what the food groups were, and this is the myplate.gov. As you'll see, fruits, vegetables, protein, grains, and dairy. Now, the first flag to me was using protein is like giving a recipe to someone and using all cups and then something in milliliters. Protein is a nutrient, it's not a classification. Number one problem. Number two, with nutrition labels emphasizing protein, carbohydrates, and fats, does that mean this is protein, this is the fat, and these are the carbohydrates? It's very difficult to determine what they're trying to say here. So I said, let's start with dairy. So we'll go to dairy. Okay, now first what we have is milk. Of course. All right. Now the little purple sticker on there means that it also contains protein. We have cheese, contains protein, yogurt contains protein, and calcium fortified soy milk. Now, soy milk to me is not a dairy, and if you calcium fortify an Oreo, does that qualify it as a dairy as well? Not sure. But let's move on to fruits. Okay, so fruits are defined as any sweet-tasting plant, especially those associated with seeds. Well, we've got apples, apricots, bananas, berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, cherries, grapefruit, grapes, kiwi, lemon, lime, mango, melons, cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, nectarine, orange, papaya, peach, pear, pineapple, plum, prune, tangerine, and raisins. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so now we go to the vegetables. And the vegetables, what I found was interesting to learn, vegetables are defined as being a savory or less sweet plant product. However, many are botanically classified as a fruit. And this is where it gets interesting. All right, so there's asparagus and there's artichoke. But avocado is technically and botanically a fruit. Little red label. And everywhere else it's also listed as a fruit, hence the red label. Everything is color-coded to match the plate. Okay, so we have beans, lentils, split peas that are technically also botanically a fruit, but they are also listed as a protein. Interesting fact for later. Okay, following along those lines of the beans are the black beans, black-eyed peas, and garbanzo. Once again, both the classification and listing on the food plate in two places. Beans, soy and white, beans, kidney, navy, and pinto. Then we have our standard vegetables of beets, bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery, collard greens, corn, which is classified as a plant, is also as a fruit, is also a grain. It's listed on this plate twice, also as a grain. Cucumber, fruit classification, dark green, leafy green lettuce, eggplant, also botanically a fruit. Fresh peas, let's see, we've got cow, field, and black-eyed peas, vegetables. Green bananas and also plantains, fruit. Green beans, believe it or not, also botanically a fruit. Green peas, same story. So then we've got greens, mustard and turnip greens, kale, lima beans. Ah, interesting. Lima beans has the purple. They are actually not on this plate as a protein, but they do have protein. Mesclun, mushrooms, okra, onions, peas, protein, got the purple. Split peas, peppers, plantain, fruit. Potato, pumpkin, fruit. Romaine lettuce, spinach, sprouts such as beans and Brussels sprouts, squash, acorn, butternut, and hubbub. I've never heard of that one. Also, fruit. Sweet potatoes, tomato, turnip, watercress, zucchini. Very sorry. Okay. All right, so now let's get back to it. So now these are all classified, and as you can see, we're starting to get a pattern here. Okay, now the next category is grains. Now, grains also have classifications of botanically as fruits as well. So let's go through the grains. Now, what's interesting with grains is they also contain protein. So there's amaranth, grain, has protein, little purple tag. Barley contains protein. Buckwheat contains protein. Corn, here we are as also botanically listed as a fruit, and it's also listed, corn, listed as a vegetable. So we've got pretty much everything covered. Technically, corn is supposed to have protein, but it's a very little amount, not enough to warrant a little purple sticker. Millet, muesli, oats, all contain protein. Rice, not only considered botanically a fruit, but also a protein as well. There's brown, white, and wild. We've got quinoa, we've got rye, sorghum, and wheat. Okay, now the last classification is protein, and we'll start with animal fats, and that would be, or from an animal of an animal. Chicken, anything from cow, beef, veal, eggs, lamb, pig, ham, pork, seafood, shellfish, turkey. Now we get into the beans, because beans have protein. Beans are not only containing protein, they're also the ones with the little red sticker, botanically are a fruit. And they're also found elsewhere on the plate. Beans are also listed under little green tag, vegetables. So we have kidney, lentil, lima, black bean, black-eyed bean, garbanzo, split, and white. Navy, pinto, soy. Those are the beans in this category as well, botanically a fruit. Then we go into nuts. Nuts are, then this is an interesting fact. Well, at least I found it to be interesting. Botanically, a nut is a type of a fruit. It is not a seed. Okay, so we've got type of fruit, nuts, nuts, almonds, cashew, hazelnut, peanuts, pecans, pistachio, walnut. Now, what I found interesting was, according to the government list, Brazil nuts, chestnuts, macadamia nuts, and pine nuts were missing from the nut list. I found that to be interesting. Then we get to seeds. The listing as per the government, pumpkin, sesame, and sunflower. Okay. Where are the chia and flax and poppy seeds? Not that there's an extensive list, but I mean, really, they're kind of important seeds, and they are, at least chia and flax, have a great amount of nutrients. So, interesting. And then this one I saved for last, because this is gross. Canned fish. Now, we've got canned fish under protein. Now, this wasn't enough for me, because when I was looking through the lists and their listing of foods under these categories, oils is not on here, but oils does have its own list of what are good oils. Okay, so now, I made its own little side plate. So we're adding a side plate to our dinner plate and our cup here. All right, we have canola oil. My understanding is canola is a combination, high uric acid, 2 different oils, rapeseed. Canola I just thought was bad, so question mark. Corn oil, number 2 genetically modified product. Cottonseed. When did cotton become a food? Just curious. Olive, safflower, soybean, the number 1 genetically modified crop. Soybean oil. This is the list as per the government. Sunflower, and then I said, that list seems to be woefully lacking as well. Where's the avocado? Where's the almond oil, the flaxseed oil, the coconut oil, the sesame oil, and the walnut oil? Interesting. Now, another important note to point out. The government lists solid fats are fats that are solid at room temperature. They may come from animal foods, vegetable oils, through a process called hydrogenation. Okay, some common fats are, and we go through a list, milk, fat, butter, stick margarine, shortening, and partially hydrogenated oil. That sounds gross. And that is on a website through our government regarding nutrition. Okay, so now, let's see. Now I have the ponderables. Why are we all over the place here? So, curiosity, I say, why is it here? Why is it here? I don't understand why this isn't more clear. Why do I need to color code my foods to understand what is in these food groups? So, curiosity took me to research and brought me back, ironically, to the My Food Plate frequently asked questions page, and this was the answer I got. How are the food groups decided for ChooseMyPlate.gov and the USDA food patterns? The new food guide must be useful to the target audience. It should build on previous food guides. Therefore, food groups should be used as a conceptual framework, and these food groups must be recognizable to consumers. Scientists might prefer a grouping system based strictly on nutrients or some other technical characteristics of the food. However, if such grouping systems are not easily recognizable to consumers, they're not useful. For example, tomatoes are botanically a fruit, but consumers use them and think of them as vegetables, therefore they should be grouped with vegetables. If past food guides have traditionally grouped certain foods together, consumers should not be asked to unlearn this information unless there is a clear advantage to reorganization. In summary, to be useful to consumers, food grouping should be based on the nutrient content of the foods, the way the food is used by consumers, and the way it has been grouped in the past. And I went through all of that because I felt it was important to realize, to me, in my own opinion, it sounds like the government thinks we're stupid. So instead of teaching us, these specialists prefer to perpetuate ignorance and misinformation. Thank you. Okay, point number 2. Let's look at all the healthy foods that are on here and the healthy foods that are missing. And I wonder, does this have anything to do with subsidized programs like farming or food stamps? I wonder which registered dietitian put their license on the line to list margarine and shortening and partially hydrogenated oil and cottonseed oil under oils for a website that's supposedly touting health and nutrition. Okay, now they have to put in some of the ingredients, I'm thinking, that's in processed food, because if ingredients that are in processed food aren't in here somewhere, somebody's going to say, incongruency. Oh, maybe this is bad. We'll slide a little in. Okay, now, I have a placemat as well that I have created. And all around I have a list. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, malt flavor, artificial flavor, disodium phosphate, artificial color, and the list goes on. Sorbic acid, citric acid. Now, some of these may actually be just a plain, straight-up derivative of a particular vitamin. I don't know. I'm not that far into nutrition yet. I know that, like, the FD&C, blue number 1, number 2, red number 40, yellow number 5, number 6, these were just some of the ingredients that were found in the products around my home. Oh, cottonseed oil, that one always stands out to me. Dextrose, potassium sorbate. And when I look at this list of these ingredients of these processed foods, I say, where is that on my food plate? And where is that? Oh, cottonseed oil is in with my little side dish, and then my dairy cup here. But none of these ingredients fit in with what the government is telling me is healthy. Interesting. Okay, but the good news is when I look at this, I do see there are so many choices for people to pick from to get a healthy diet. And another amazing thing is all of these tags that have 1 or 2 stickers on them, that's fantastic, because truly I'm thinking these are our power foods because they cross over. You can get your nutrients from vegetable or as a grain. You can work with them. So these are good. Fruits are fruits. That's awesome. But it's nice to know that a lot of vegetables, proteins, and grains cross over. And my final question / answer to what are the food groups and what foods are in them, I ask, does anybody know? Thank you. Have a nice day. Namaste.